And it's all, the best things that I've written, for instance, there's one song, I have to confess, not to be immodest, but in the last musical you saw, you remember the part where they're going, right before you? I can't get it out of my head. I go around singing my own music. And I think it's because it's about with that musical. It's before you came here, my life seems so gray. Now that you're here, I'm not alone anymore. Okay, now I suppose we've all had that. So, I don't know, I'd love to be able to tell you all how to write a melody, but it usually comes from the script. I think I've jumped over 5 pages of stuff here without even being able to read them, but
We forgive you.
I was supposed to do this. There's one more thing I want to get to now, and the next musical, I've written 4 or 5 short musicals. They're shorter than the last one, on O. Henry stories. Now, we all know who O. Henry is. He died in 1910. He wrote stories that always are like short stories, and they always have an ironic ending, don't they? And most of you, if you haven't read it, you've heard of the musical The Gift of the Magi. That's where the girl cuts off her hair, and then the boy does something else, and they're both so poor living in Greenwich Village that they end up. But it's the idea, like the kings are giving, gifts to the Christ child. I mean, if you could figure that out. But there are several other stories that move me greatly. The one you're about to see is called The Count and the Widow. Does anybody know it? Because I wanted to surprise you. The Count and the Widow. It's a lesser known, there are about 50 stories of O. Henry in one book. And a few years ago, I was performing these all over Westchester and raising money for different churches and women's clubs and whatever. It was a way to get the things done, and it was also a way to keep being creative. So I think I'll stop telling you about writing lyrics, and of course reference the fact that lyrics can come from the Greek meters that we all learned in the 7th grade, like dactylic, or anapest. The Greek meters if you write poetry. I've always written poetry, not very good, but I wrote it, So that's another way. When you hear that Wagner thing, that's a certain specific rhythm. Sometimes that will give you, if you're trying to find a particular lyric to fit a melody, that will do it for you. And then if we think of the last song the Gershwins wrote, the Gershwin brothers, which was, it's very clear, our love is here to stay. That was the last thing they wrote, but there were some of the songs that Ira Gershwin, he agonized over writing the lyrics to the songs. One of them in particular is Embraceable You, which frankly, it's a good tune, but I've always felt that the lyrics, they just kind of they're not really the best lyrics. And Gershwin, of course, they wrote the best songs, like come to Papa, do. I mean, couldn't we do better than that, But anyway, so that's my take on how to write lyrics and melody. And I'm sure when Gregory gets up and tells us about the way he works it, Gregory has a wonderful music drama called Martin Eden, based on a book written by Jack London in San Francisco, and Gregory is from San Francisco, right? And I've heard some of the music from it. I can't wait until he has a reading of it. And in fact, I keep pressing him to do it late in the summer. Maybe we'll invite you all to come to hear the first stages of Martin Eden. But thank you all for listening to this palaver. I didn't read one word from my notes, but it doesn't matter. Okay, and now we take you. Thank you.